Okay, so in this video we are going to animate this helicopter here. So the final product looks something like this. It's E135 heli. So right now it's just the front and the back rotors animating, and I will show you how to do this. So let's do this from scratch. So I'll save this and then open up the original file, which is black logo. Sure. Okay, so this is what we have. This is our base model here, and what we need to do is align it onto our axes again. Also, I'm going to do this. Turn on the mouse keys. So that's relatively easy. Just rotate this so it looks fine. Move this guy to center. And this center line right here, I'm just lining up with the x-axis. So it looks good in the front and looks good in the back. Okay, so that's pretty well enough. If we try to extract this whole thing, it's going to give us an error because there's too many vertices. There's way more than 1,000, and you need less than 1,000. So I'm going to split it up into the main body, the tail rotor, and then the main rotor, and those 4 pieces will be fine. The first thing I'm going to do is remove all these vertex groups. So these vertex groups are going to be used for assigning our vertices to our bones, and we'll cover that later. So the first thing we have to do is split the model up into its parts. So the way I do it is I just kind of duplicate this thing a couple times and delete the parts, and we'll do that. Actually, we shouldn't have deleted our vertex groups. Can we undo that? Yes, we can. Beautiful. So we'll do that later. Right, so Shift D duplicates, duplicate again, duplicate again. So now we got 4 guys. So I'll call this rotor rear, rotor top, tail, and then body. So let's work with the body first. And we'll hide everything that's not the body. So now we select this, it's the only one there. So because these vertex groups are already here, this is great. So come into edit mode, and the body, we'll want everything except for the body. So if we, let's see, the heck rotor, select, delete that. And the regular rotor, select, delete that. Come in here and vertices, box select the tail, so the tail's gone. So this is the body portion, and I believe this is under 1,000 vertices. So next up is the tail. I'm gonna fast forward this because it's just kind of wasting time if you watch me do this. Okay, so now we have all of our parts separated, and we are going to export these individual as their own SMD. So let's just turn everything on. Now let's create our bone structure. So Shift S, cursor to center, and this is where we're going to add our bone. Armature, single bone. Scale this thing up. That looks good. Edit mode. Extract this up for the center of the rotor, and then I'm going to duplicate this guy the x-axis, bring them back. And here's a nifty trick. Let's see. I'm going to be perfectly in the center, so I'm going to grab edit mode on this tail, select this center portion right here, and snap the cursor to that. So cursor to selected. And now in edit mode, over here, we can snap our selection to our cursor, and it's right in the center. We can rotate this around the 3D cursor 90 degrees. So that's exactly in the center. Don't gotta worry about it. We can do a similar thing for the top rotor, I believe. But yeah, see, that bone's not directly in the center either, so let's do that there. So select this rotor, edit mode, select that center hub, cursor to selected, edit this guy, cursor to selection to cursor, that's what it was. Alright, so now we have our body bone, our rotor bone, and our tail rotor bone. And now we have to name our bones. So this is going to be body. All lowercase is fine. Rotor top and rotor rear. Right. Now we need this, and this. We want to parent it to that, which is our last selected. So Control P, Armature deform. Now here's where these vertex groups come into play. So how the vertex groups work is whatever these things are named, they equate to a bone name. So this bone right here is called the top rotor. So if we name every single vertex in here, give it a group called top rotor, that will move with this bone. So that's what we're going to do. So edit mode, select everything, make a new vertex group with the little plus icon, call it rotor top, and hit assign. And then we can test that with deselect and select. And we can see if this works by going into pose mode and then rotating this thing around, and we see now our rotors spinning with our bone. You'll have to excuse me, my brain's not really working right now. So I'm gonna go through and name everything again. So here's our tail, and I'm gonna assign it a vertex group called body, because I want that to be parented to our body bone over here. So select everything, vertex group, body, assign. Same thing for this guy. Delete all these because we don't need them. Vertex group, body, assign. So now we get this, and everything's nice. So our tail rotor here, same thing. Select everything. Nope, our tail rotor. Come on. There we go. Edit mode. Rotor back. I think it's called rotor back. Armature. Rotor rear, that's what it is. Rotor rear, assign. So, right. Yep. That's interesting. Why are you rotating around that? Let's disconnect this bone. Oh, that's because it's rotating around the 3D cursor. Aha. Individual origins, I believe. Beautiful. Alright. So everything's set up. Let's give this a save. Save as, we'll call this E135, I think. Right, animating. Pull up a new window, and we're going to open up our dope sheet. And we're also going to open up our graph editor. So 2 windows. Graph editor. First thing you want to do is rotate this guy. It's going to be 2 keyframes, very simple, and it's just going to kind of loop over and over and over again. So keyframe 1, this is our initial condition, select it, hit I, location, rotation, lock rod. And now 6 frames out, we want to rotate it not quite 90 degrees. So do that. That's our origin point, just for reference. And we can rotate this about there. Location, rotation. And now, see, it's kind of slowing down there, so this is how you fix that. Let's see, so it's the purple little line here. Is that it, the purple line? Yeah. Let's see if we can squish this down a bit. No. What did I do? There we go. Alright. I don't like how these scroll bars were kind of a pain in the butt. Right, so it's this purple thing. Purplish, fuchsia, magenta. I've hit channel, extrapolation, linear. It just straightens everything out. You don't gotta deal with these funky handles. Snowy play, and it's a much smoother spin there. So we can do the same thing for the back now. So same thing, first keyframe, location, rotation, move it out, and we're going to do the same thing. Why are you not where I want you to be? What's going on here? Did I not rotate this thing? Huh. You know what? I don't think I applied the rotation. That's why. Alright, I gotta fix that before we go any further, because I might have broken that. No, we don't want just the mesh. How did I mess that up? Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll fix it. Perfect. Not really. YZ, there we go. Oh, that's a better way of doing it. Perfect. Alright, I'm not messing with that anymore. The important part is now we hit Control A and apply the location and rotation. Might as well do scale. We'll do that for the bones too. Location, rotation, scale. So now, like, this is the default settings of everything. It's very important to do. I kind of forgot about that. Now let's go back and double check our bone locations. Let's see. So, and that guy's still in the center. And this bone is still on that point. Okay, cool. Right, now we can animate. Perfect. Yeah, this guy's already rotating. So now I have to do this guy. Yep, eye, location, rotation. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to put my cursor there as a reference point. And we're going to rotate up there. But it resets because I didn't move my keyframe. What the heck? Location, rotation. And same thing here. Channel, extrapolation mode, linear. Cool. Right, and play. So we got that rotating, and that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Right. File save, and now let's get on to exporting. Let's see. So we have to choose an export path. So I'm going to make a new folder for this. New folder, it's going to be a tutorial folder. Accept. And we want to export in SMD. So when we export, we're going to do the scene export, which is 5 files. And then you can see up here 5 files exported in 1 second, which is exactly what we want. So we come to our tutorial, and then we see body, rotor rear, rotor top, and our tail, and then our animations are in here. It's called Armature Action 001, which is, I'm going to rename this to idle. So action editor, actually let's call it spin. Okay, so we re-export. And now in our anims folder, we should have Armature Action 001, which is the old one, and then we have spin. So right now these 4 files are SMDs, but the Blender tools export for source, so we need to fix that. So we have this source to Goldsource MDC. So you just select all these and drag them over here, and it converts the files to the Goldsource. Well, that's all we have to do for that. So puts fixed at the end of everything, and we're just going to write that into our QC. So here's my QC that I have. I'm going to paste it over here and edit with Notepad. Right. So it's the model name, change directory, 23 down heli/tutorial, because we changed it. Where's my backslash key? Oh my god. Tutorial. Scale, clip the textures, whatever. Bounding boxes. I'm not messing with anything. Just leave that. Here's our reference message. Reference meshes, I'm sorry. So this is from the other one. This is the working model that I showed you guys in the beginning. Body fixed, tail fixed, rotor rear, rotor top. So rotor top, rotor rear, body, and tail. So those are all the right names. This is perfect. 1 hitboxes, this is commented out, so ignore that. And 1 animation sequence, idle, frames per second 50, loop. But I actually called it, what I call it, spin. So we have to change this. Spin. File save. Okay. That's good. And now also in this folder, it's going to be looking for the textures to be in here as well. So we need to go dump our textures into this folder, which they are in here, which is, I believe, this and the glass texture I think we need. So I'll just copy that, paste it right here. We'll know, it'll yell at us when we go to compile just to see if we did this right or not. The way I like to compile these models, because GUI Studio model for some reason doesn't like Windows 10. It yells at you, it says it can't find it, whatever. So I make myself a little batch file. So I call it compile. And all it is, it's very, very simple. So studio model, this is the location of the tools, and then this is the location of the model that we're looking for. And this E135 heli is our QC file, but we don't put the .qc at the end of it, we just leave it as is. So we're in here, tutorial, and I put pause at the end because if you just let it run, it automatically closes itself and you can't actually see the status. So then I just run it. So body fixed does not exist. Body fixed does not exist. That's a lie. It's right there. I'm looking at it. Alright, I'm dumb. I know what I did. It's actually in our QC. I messed up. So let's edit this. It's right here. This is an incorrect location. It's just /tutorial. Get out of here. File save. And now we can compile. Perfect. Look at that. All right. So it finds everything, finds our animations, and it puts everything together. It spits out. Yeah. Okay, so we're good. And this hopefully should be our model. Yeah. All right. Look at that. It's beautiful. Right. So, overview of what we did. We realigned our helicopter to our grid. By the way, 5 changes between perspective and orthographic, I believe is the term. 1, 3, and 7 split between your major views, front, top, and side. So yeah, we split our meshes. Wow. Assigned our vertex groups. We created our skeleton, our bones, our armature. We named our bones, renamed our vertex groups to match the bone name, which we want them to be attached. And then we animated, we exported, we fixed up our QC script, and we compiled. And there it is. It's spinning. It's beautiful. All right. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop me a comment. This is Tetsuo. Hope you learned something. Bye-bye.